What's up, YouTube dweebs? Welcome to the Nonverbal Honors channel, where today I will be giving my impressions, not reacting, but giving my impressions on El Estepario Siberiano's band, The Cost, their new single, Into the Drone. Now, their first song was a slam dunk. It was a real hit, real crowd pleaser. And this song, well, let's talk about it. So the reason I want to talk about this song and this band in general is because he is the only YouTuber who has actually gotten me excited about their music. And I really mean that. So many other YouTubers come out with songs and they're just so unremarkable. They sound, and it's usually a lot of metal. I feel like a lot of musical YouTubers are very heavy in the metal genre. And I love metal. But when they come out with music, it seems very niche, very catered to a specific audience. It's either all instrumental and kind of abstract, or it just, the vocals are like very heavy and screaming, and it's hard to relate to. I don't know. I haven't found myself gravitating toward any YouTuber's music, but I think this guy's onto something. Like, he's actually coming out with very accessible music, and I mean that in the best way possible, where it's like, it just seems very well done. And so this song, I'll play it soon, I promise. But I've already listened to it. I watched the video. I've listened to the song a few times, and I've scribbled down some notes, jotted some ideas, and I'm actually excited to talk about kind of what this has made me think. So it came out today, March 21st, 2024, but it's very different from their first song. Their first song was a little moodier, heavy, but also a lot more dynamic shift throughout the song. Heavy chorus, very melodic, and kind of, again, moody verse. Beautiful guitar, bass following it, a little more laid back, more sludgy, I would say. Just a little bit of sludge in there. This song, totally different characteristic. So let's just watch it, and I'll give my little thoughts here and there. I like the woods, by the way. Good change of scenery. So instantly with the triplet feel, which reminds me a little bit of maybe like Periphery or something. Maybe, not quite. But then it shifts, and let's listen. Yeah. So that, when it shifts, it goes from the triplet feel into that straight kind of 4-on-the-floor, very heavy riff feel. Reminds me of Slipknot. Totally reminds me of Slipknot. In fact, so much of the song kind of reminds me of that style. Now, not 100%, of course. And I just think it's really cool. I get excited when I'm able to kind of hear different impressions of other bands in somebody's music. Not that it's like, oh, they're ripping them off, but it's like, hey, I feel like this inspired this song or this riff or whatever. And so I just think it's cool to kind of draw those comparisons. But yeah, this really feels kind of like a Slipknot-esque riff. Like, okay, before we start singing, that reminds me of Eyeless. Like, let me go back. Am I the only mother effer with the brain? Okay, that was a bit much. But, like, that's kind of the feel I got, It's like the heavy riff, the pause for kind of the vocal, the vocal break, and that's kind of what I felt. And what I've noticed is their singer does not do screaming vocals or distorted vocals, which I honestly find very refreshing, especially for a metal song. And I mean, yeah, this is definitely metal. It just seems like metal nowadays is so oversaturated where everyone is trying to build the heavier riff, the heaviest song, the craziest types of vocals, and, you know, all this crap that kind of makes it a little less relatable. I mean, it's cool, it's impressive, it's virtuosic, but it kind of leaves you feeling like, I have no idea where to, you know, I can't put my finger in the wind and tell which way it's going almost. Like, this just feels a little more down to earth, especially with the clean vocals. And again, it's kind of a breath of fresh air, but he still sings with power, he sings with conviction, and it's still kind of a, you know, it's still kind of a heavy presence in the mix, definitely.
You finally found the time, never went too far, somewhere on the...
I can just hear the beer kegs where the snare drum's supposed to be, the Slipknot beer kegs. Anyway, okay, let's go.
Way you stop to see the light, the mason and the stone, bitter winter's bone, pulled your way down under, deep into the throne. The Leviathan stood on my...
Yeah, so this song, it really feels like it's more in line with Ellis DeBarrio's kind of signature style. He's got the double bass. It feels like he's oh my gosh, releasing more. He's just more in his comfort zone, I guess. Not that he's out of his comfort zone, but this feels a little more up his alley of the style of drumming he's kind of known for. Not the over the top kind of meme stuff, but when you watch some covers, like, for example, the types of fills he does, where it's like a Bonham triplet, but it's adding a double bass. So 2 on the snare, 2 on the bass, 2 on the toms, 2 on the bass. It's very reminiscent of the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold. That's kind of what he was really known for. And I feel like Ellis DeBarrio kind of puts his own flavor on that. And he pulls out that type of fill all the time. And so, yeah, that's why I kind of feel like this song is a little more in his vein of drumming style. Yeah. Right there. I also love the little bell accents. Yeah, that's another kind of, it reminds me of the Rev or Joey Jordison kind of style, kind of flair. And I feel like, I don't know, at least in those single chords, dun, 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 I think it's cool how the bassist is using his thumb. And he's not using a pick, which, you know, I feel like a lot of heavy metal bassists might use a pick. I mean, not necessarily, but he's not using a pick, which I think is kind of cool. And he's switching between, you know, upstrokes with the fingers to when it's more heavy, those single notes, hitting it with the thumb. I don't know. It's just kind of a cool stylistic thing that gives it a little more impact. And I've also noticed, now he's definitely like, this isn't a diss or anything. I just think it's kind of goofy. It's fun to point out, but he's very much dressed like how he's always dressed, you know, like the wife beater, the hood, and whatever Groove Father hat he's got on. And then his bandmates, I mean, when it shows it, are more like corporate casual, you know, like nice shirt, nice jeans, boots, like a little more like semi-professional. I think, I don't know, there's just kind of like a fun little goofy dichotomy in there. If that's even the right use of the word, I don't know, but onward.
You know, or even if it's true, the calling of an angel, message with a view, the secret of the ride, coercion of.
Also, I do think the tree is a little goofy. I mean, you've got this cool like dark room, and then it's just like randomly nature. I mean, it's cool, but it's like it just makes me laugh.
Your mind, the sacrifice you'll know in this conviction show. The radiations to a mind above, to grant all that you wanted. Someone to show you how, something to break you down. His decoration, what a revelation now. Somewhere to bend your throne, on the province overblown. His medication, like it's a salvation now. Something way down under, now you're broken.
Dude, we turned red. We gotta go red. Murder. That's what red means, right? That's because this breakdown murders. So, if you want to hear the breakdown, just listen to the song. But I think this is a really fun breakdown to actually count out and try to figure out what's going on. The last breakdown in Not For Me was in an odd time signature, kind of bouncing between different meters. This one is kind of unique. Now the drums are in 4/4. Now I've tried to count this, and this is what I feel, right? I don't know if this is exactly right, but the drums are in 4/4, and it feels like the guitars are kind of switching between their own meters. So I'm going to play this, and I'm going to count with the drums first, then I'm going to rewind and count with the guitars, and hopefully you'll see what I mean. Yeah. Oh, crap. Back before it's red.
Now you're broken.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes into like a 3/4 kind of feel. Now, the reason I count in 4/4 is because you listen to the drums, the snare is always on the 3, and it fits. You go back. Now, I'll count the guitars where I think they're kind of changing between meters, and we'll see what you think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of hard to count while I'm like listening and I'm listening to myself talk, but yeah. So the guitars feel like they're in sections of. Yeah, the meter is kind of divided in 8 and 4, then 8 and 6, then 8 and 6 again. If you add that up, it's like 3 sections of 12, 14, 14. Now you might be like, 14, isn't that just 7, 4, and 7, 4? So wouldn't that last half kind of be in 7, 4? But if you count it, the feel of it where the 1 kind of starts again, it feels like it's an 8 and then 6, 8, and then 6 on that last half. And sure, you can count it 4, 4, 6, 4, 4, or whatever. That's just how I kind of feel it. So I think that's really impressive to have the guitars really kind of bouncing back and forth between those meters, but the drums are a solid 4/4. Now, is it like a true polyrhythm? I don't know. I wouldn't say so, because to me, a polyrhythm kind of gets out of sync, and then the instruments loop back up at a point, get out of sync, loop up. It could be. I would love more insight from other musicians on what your thoughts are. Like, is this a true polyrhythm? Is it something else? Is it just kind of bouncing between meters? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments above. No, below. You know where the comments are. Just comment. Okay. Back at it.
So you went into the pines, thought you leave it all behind.
Now, okay, back to reality. So this, dude, it's just a goofy shot, man. Like, it reminds me of Twilight. Like, look at Ellis Tapario in the corner, just it's a little goofy, man. It's a little goobery. I dig it. I'm not harshing. It's just sometimes music videos can be a little funny.
Reminiscing of a time you saw it all, yet
Good
you
dynamic
were
shift.
blind. Never breathe a word again. Never say the name and then run to other every night.
That's like the classic Ellis Tapario feel. Sorry, I ruined the momentum. I'm so sorry. Play. Just kidding. Play. Just kidding. Play.
Someone show you how. Something to break you down. His decoration. What a revelation now. Somewhere to build your throne. On the province overblown. His medication. Like it's your salvation now. Something way down under. Now you're broken. Do it again. Do it again.
So that's kind of what I mean. How the vocals are still powerful and have a heavy presence. Do it again, but they're not distorted. They're not screaming. It's just a strong delivery, which I really like. I appreciate.
Do it again. Do it up.
Wow. Okay, so that breakdown at the end. The first time I heard that, I was like, dude, this reminds me of a specific song, a specific riff. What is it? And I was looking through my list of artists, and I was trying to find like a heavy metal band, or like, this is like a, what is this, man? It's not like Slipknot or anything, or I know I keep mentioning Slipknot. I swear I listen to other metal. But then I was like, oh, it's Rage Against the Machine. But it can't be Rage. Then I looked at their first album, and I listened to A Fistful of Steel, listened to the end, and it wasn't quite it. Then I looked through my artists again, and I was like, oh, Muse. It's got to be Stockholm Syndrome by Muse. Again, listening to the end wasn't quite it. Similar, but not quite it. Then I went back to Rage, and I listened to Bullet in the Head, and that's what that last riff reminds me of, where it's that straight like no pause. I love that style of riff, by the way. And the drum start off kind of like, and Bullet in the Head, they speed up like a more punk feel. In this, he speeds up more in the bass pedal. So this video is already copyrighted. I'm going to, whatever. So we're going to listen to Bullet in the Head, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, I think like back here. Yeah, this one. Oh, swear. So that, I just think that's kind of cool. Like, I don't know, did this song inspire them? Was it just kind of subconscious? It happens all the time where artists write things that just sound similar to other riffs, but I don't know. I just find that kind of intriguing, where it's like, hey, like, I wonder if this could have been an inspiration. One last thing I want to talk about, then I promise I'll shut up forever, is, so the name of the band, The Cost, if you notice, if you type it in, they lowercase the C in cost. It's like, what? That's so random. And then you realize there's another band. It's like some emo metal band called The Cost, and they have a capital C. So they went with the lowercase c to be different. Like, that had to have been a thing like, oh crap, there's already a band called The Cost. We'll just be lowercase cost. They can be uppercase cost. That way we'll avoid any legal disputes. And then last thing I want to talk about is their logo. Now I know they're doing this, or at least I assume they're using this logo because to get the traction. Ellis DePartio's followers or subscribers are going to be the ones like gravitating towards this. So it makes sense when you have a name like The Cost that's pretty, that's a pretty non-unique name. It's pretty common to put his logo to be like, hey, this is actually our band. This is the one you want to listen to. And I get it. I really hope this evolves from Ellis DePartio's band to the band The Cost. In other words, I hope once they release their full album, people start saying, hey, have you heard of The Cost? Instead of, hey, have you heard of Ellis DePartio's new band? So I look forward to the future to see if they come up with a new logo, like a true band logo or something like that. Because this is really just for recognition for Ellis DePartio's fans, from what I think. Anyway, it's like not a bad thing. It's just an observation. But overall, my thoughts on the song, I think it's dope. I think it's cool. It's honestly, this is what I was expecting the first song to be. But in a way, the first song, because it's not what I was expecting, kind of made me like it more. Where it's like, oh, hey, this just was different than what I was thinking it was going to be. I was thinking it was going to be a fast-paced kind of metal song with lots of different drum riffs in there, and it wasn't. This lines up a little more with what my expectations were for the style of Ellis DePartio's drumming, the style of music, and I think this is when I wanted to kind of meet that expectation. I don't know. I think they just played it very smart by how they released it. I'm really excited to see what they come out next. I can't wait to see the full album. I think it's very cool how they're releasing it month by month. It keeps the anticipation up. It makes people keep talking about it. And I think it makes it more, it's not just a one and done. We release the album and after a month, you're not going to care anymore. It's like, oh, this is drawn out and the whole community is going to be engaged for a while. So yeah, props to these guys. I think it's really dope. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You don't have to subscribe or like. I don't want to pressure anyone to do something they don't want to do. But if you want to do it, that would be super. Thank you so much. Peace out, and I'll see you next time. Later.